This is Travis Lee Bailey at the embassy, which is being punked by the Russian government here in Moscow, the American embassy. If you look over here, this big building here is the White House, where the Yeltsin puppet government lobbied tank shells into the building which used to hold basically Russia's Congress in the 1990s, in 1993. And then over here, you'll see all this construction. There used to be all this security and all these buffers between the American embassy and the road itself, and that's all being that security's all gone now. If you look over here, there's the guardhouse right here, and I'm just going to go across the street. The traffic's always really bad right here. So I don't know exactly what all this here is right here. Construction. Oh, with the Z and V. Oh, how funny. Because for those that you don't know, the Z basically is a symbol for the what's called the special operations. And I do apologize for using the word war. I have a lot of friends who I notice that are Ukrainian, and as soon as I use that word, then they just tune out and they don't listen to my message. So these used to be buffers between the embassy and the road, and they're all being torn out. And there's all this publicity. Oh my goodness. I'll have to do videos of it about the war. And so all of these safeguards are torn out, and so basically anybody could just scale the wall. Not suggesting that. The Russian flag I notice on the White House is at half mast. And you know, it's funny that Washington, D.C. does this a lot. They will change the names of embassy streets and embassy blocks, but I've never seen anything like this at this scale. This is all advertising the special operations. The best word is probably conflict to use in Russia, or in Ukraine rather. They're tearing it completely out. Wow. See, before there was this huge barrier, and then there was these gates, and so there was really no way to travel across this. This was all territory you would never walk on. But now they've made it so that it's extremely easy to move around here and be so close to the embassy. There's one of the Seven Sisters. They have a different name for it in Russian. I almost photographed a military officer, which is illegal, and so thankfully he just opened the door and I got his hand, and that's it. There was actually somebody in that guard tower there, and he started to open the door. So this is the White House. Again, it was bombed by Yeltsin, a puppet of America, and according to a report in the Moscow Times, which is very anti-Russian, they reported on somebody that was there the day that this happened, and he said that Yeltsin was considering running to the embassy when there was a conflict, the American embassy, which used to be in a different location. Wow, so this has all been torn out. There used to be a gate here and it's gone. Beautiful statue. It's June 22nd, Wednesday, June 22nd, 2022. I gotta turn this off because I've been told never to do like security and stuff on the buildings. This is Travis Lee Bailey standing in front of the American Embassy in Moscow, Russia. And there's a special sign here that says the People's Republic of Donetsk that was just put up recently. And the Russian conflict did not start in 2002. It started with the American overthrow of the democratically elected president of Ukraine in 2014. To argue otherwise is to disrespect and forget the 14,000 Ukrainians who were killed from 2014 to 2022 in Donbass. Every media organization in Russia that supports Russia, every YouTube blogger that supports Russia should demand in their interviews and change the narrative that this war started in 2014, 8 years ago. Undersecretary of State for Political Affairs of the United States, Victoria Nuland, you helped create this war in 2014 along with Joe Biden. Listen to the leaked tape where you mentioned Joe Biden's name. I hope you go on trial for war crimes, Victoria. you should spend the rest of your life in prison. Noam Chomsky has an article which I suggest that you look up. It's called If the Nuremberg Trials Were Today. And the article states that if the Nuremberg trials were given today for every American president would be hung. The blood of 14,000 Ukrainians is on your hands, Victoria Nuland. The blood of 14,000 Ukrainians is on your hands, Joe Biden. My name is Travis Lee Bailey, and I am standing across the street from the American Embassy in Moscow, Russia. And this is the best punk, the best trolling I've ever seen in my entire life. You have the American Embassy, and what the Russian Embassy, or the Russians, has done is they've completely torn out the fence, the security that runs all along this side of the street, all the way down this entire block. They've torn it out. And what they've done is they've replaced it with these posters, these vinyl posters that basically say, "We're going to win in Ukraine." And it's amazing because I've lived in Washington, D.C. before, and I've seen, like, Washington, D.C., they've changed, like, where the Iranian embassy is, they'll change the name to a particular journalist that died that supported the United States or something to that effect, basically to punk them. This is the biggest trolling that I've ever seen in my entire life. And it goes all the way along. Over here is the White House, where in 1993 the puppet of the United States, President Yeltsin, actually shelled this building, the White House, with the embassy in it, with the assembly inside, and killed several people. Wow, this is just amazing. If you look at some of these posters, and this goes all the way down. There's a poster here. I'll get a little bit closer. A vinyl poster here. And these are just vinyl construction. And then this one right here is specifically addressed right across the street from the embassy. It's specifically addressed to the embassy right here. And then you have a picture of the embassy. Amazing. Again, this is Travis Lee Bailey, MoscowAmerican.com. The most violent country in the world, internationally, today, by all statistical measures, is the United States of America. If you're unsatisfied with your life in America, if you're not treated right, if you want family values, I would strongly suggest immigrating to Russia. Moscow is an incredible city. It's much safer than any American city I've been to, and I invite you all. Moscow beckons. June 22nd, 2022. In 1993, there was a revolution in Russia, President Yeltsin, which was a literal puppet of America, who at one point during that day, according to two authors, said that he wanted to flee to the American embassy, took tanks and bombed the White House. Several people died that day. Instead of condemning the bloodshed, America predictably and the collective West predictably praised this bloodshed. Yeltsin was a puppet of the United States. He has been dead for years and he's been out of power for 22 years. It's time for Russia and the oligarchs of Russia to come to terms with the legacy that he created. Thankfully, we here in Russia have a strong president in President Putin, and he is able to change some of the things and the excesses of capitalism that nearly destroyed this great country. It's June 22nd, 2022. In 1993, the puppet of the United States government, President Yeltsin of the Russian Federation, was in a panic. He didn't know if he would flee to the American embassy, as two people, according to the Moscow Times, reported, or if he would stay and fight. He decided to stay and fight, and he put tanks on this bridge that I'm standing on right now. And tanks from this bridge started to shell what is called the White House. Dozens, if not hundreds, of people died. And the collective West, because this was a supported massacre, praised President Yeltsin. They praised the deaths of dozens, if not hundreds, of Russians. America, if it had its way, would have destroyed Russia in the 1990s. But thankfully, Yeltsin understood, after the bloodshed of Serbia and the destruction of Serbia and Yugoslavia, that a strong and wise leader was needed. That leader was President Vladimir Putin, who became president in 1999, the day that I entered into the United States Peace Corps. The oligarchs of Russia have to come to terms with what happened during that time. The extreme wealth disparity and the taking of so much property of those who had so little, creating an oligarchy based on the model of the United States. The United States is an oligarchy, according to the BBC. It's scientifically an oligarchy. It's been scientifically proven. Look up BBC Oligarchy, Democracy, America. MoscowAmerican.com. This is Travis Lee Bailey at the Russian White House. Across the way is the American Embassy, which is being trolled this past week by the Russian government. The war in Ukraine has now been going on for 4 months, or I should say the conflict in Ukraine has been going on for 4 months. And God bless the Russian Federation, who's fighting against the most violent international country, my country, the United States of America. MoscowAmerican.com, like and subscribe, and please share. Unbridled capitalism, that is Russia. America on powder cocaine. This is a libertarian society where the wealthy have all the power. It's an oligarchy based on the model of the United States. This is the Moscow River that goes through Moscow. Over here is the island that has many dance clubs. There's an island between the Moscow River, right in the middle of this beautiful, majestic, gorgeous city that I've called my home since 2015. God bless Ukraine, those who want peace, and those who only are trying to live their lives the best they can.